Welcome to Startup Spotlight. We're here at ARU to share the exciting stories and innovations and the people behind them, making big ideas happen. Hello everyone and welcome to Startup Spotlight. Today we're going to have a very beautiful conversation, but first of all, my name is Christiana and I am your host for this session. We will be discussing how AI is shaking up healthcare, and we have no better experienced people to speak about this topic than those we have in the studio today. Here with me is Dr. Shaobin Wu. Dr. Shaobin Wu has been a consultant histopathologist in the NHS for over a decade now.
20 years, more than 20 years.
More than 20 years.
Yeah.
So imagine that vast amount of experience. And to my surprise, her co-founder of C-Prio is her husband. We have Dr. Jiahui Zhu, and he is a biological scientist and also an entrepreneur. You should read his resume on AI. I read about your reasoning of AI, axiomatic tree theory.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah, well done. Definitely did research. Yeah.
Mind blown. But let me make them introduce themselves better.
Thank you for having me. I'm really honored to be here.
Thank you.
So Shaobin Wu, I'm consultant histopathology, just said, for more than 20 years in UK. My undergraduate is studied in China, Beijing Medical School. And recently, I really interested and passionate about innovation and AI and change the healthcare.
My name is Jiahui Zhu, and I got a PhD in UEA, not far from here, and in genetics. And after working in joint center, I started my journey of entrepreneur in biotech, and later on, and in high tech as well. I created the theory called axiomatic process tree theory. I also invented the AI model, which we collaborated in histopathology.
Okay, so Dr. Shaobin, going from the medical degree into AI, that is quite a huge step to take. So your innovation and you having that interest in AI, walk me through the process of going through medicine to AI.
Is a very interesting experience. Basically, as a diagnostic histopathologist, very much concentrate on my diagnostic work, clinical work. And later in my career, I get into management. So with management, you will see a lot of kind of problem you need to solve. As a person, I'm the person thinking every problem can be solved if you try hard enough. But when you get management, I find one thing is difficult is about the turnaround time of diagnosis. And also, we just don't have enough people, enough trained pathologists to do that. And one day, a case come back, we're outsourcing, that means send the case for outside for diagnosis, come back more than 4 weeks. And patient diagnosis is malignant. And I feel the service is really not good enough and to serve the patient. So from then on, I try very hard to find solutions. I find the solution really out of our control. And then we come across digital pathology and AI. And it's really, from there, I find that's the solution. AI really can solve the problem for manpower problem, for the efficient accuracy. And then, I always talking about this with my husband, and he said, I'm very interested. I always thinking my theory, and can really solve the problem with specific features. We said, why we don't try it? That's the birth of C-Prio.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is, and it's so important that in healthcare or in any walk of life you find yourself, when you have a problem, instead of always nagging and talking about it, is very important for you to try to find a solution, and that is what she did. So lesson number 1, guys. Okay, Dr. Jiahui Zhu.
Yeah.
Now this question is for you. AI is such a big deal right now. There's a lot of rave about it. Misconceptions, positive, negative. Some people say AI in healthcare is not good because it's going to drive the human power force away. Just so many things. But I'd like to ask you, what is the behind the scenes of AI for you, and how is AI impacting healthcare?
the current issue is how to use AI to solve the burning problem every day. And so the big model, the big investment in a huge data training has not reached to the stage to be applied in everyday medical world. And we concern is, for example, how to use histopathology AI to streamline the cancer diagnosis process, to solve the backlog problem, for example. And for us, is to use our model to tackle this problem. And we have to generate enough advantage and a good feature to tackle this problem. So that's the only way for us to enter the market and also to solve this problem efficiently.
Yeah. Dr. Shaobin, I've heard that you're part of the NHS Clinical Entrepreneurship Program, and I am too. I haven't had this big idea, because anytime I tell people I'm part of the NHS CEP, they're like, oh, so what do you want to do? I'm like, okay, slow down a bit, it's going to come, but not now. But how has that helped you into shaping C-Prio? I'm sure it's an important factor for you. So I want you to tell me, how has that helped you into bringing C-Prio to life?
Right. I think first and foremost, I can confidently say that without being part of a clinical entrepreneur program, we are not going to be here today. And I think the first thing I want to say is, apart from the business skills and knowledge being told, educated in the program, I think very importantly, each time when we go to the pitch stop, we're talking about well-being, physically and mentally. That's super important, especially we have full-time and natural job and doing entrepreneur. Yeah. And on top of that, is very, very important. Another thing is the networking we're exposed to, and both internally and also externally with funding organizations and governance bodies, with industries. I think that's really important. We set up this networking.
Okay, we've been hearing C-Prio. Now the question is, what is C-Prio really about? From my research, I read on colorectal diagnosis. You'll tell me what C-Prio really is about, and I really want to ask, why colorectal cancer?
C-Prio stands for cancer priority. Because,
okay.
Yeah, because the backlog will make the diagnosis sometimes postponed, and we like to prioritize doctors' energy into the most urgent cancer cases. So that's why we introduce this way and use this AI model to triage the cases. So bring the urgent case to the doctor early and leave the others later. So this is one of the benefit of this product. So that's why we called it C-Prio.
Wow.
So from the first question, I said this delayed cancer diagnosis. Actually, this is colorectal cancer. And later we did some studies thinking about it. Why colorectal cancer tend to be delayed? Because colorectal cancer biopsies is one of large cohort in our biopsy specialty, all the specialties. And also because screening program, we have quite few cases which is benign. Because of that, so we tend to send colorectal out for outsourcing as it is many is normal cases. That's why, so the early cancers, without obvious clinical symptom signs, without clinical priority, so we send out. That's why it's delayed. That's the reason we choose colorectal biopsies. Colorectal cancers for the first project. Yeah.
Okay. Building a business is like your child. You're giving birth to a child because this is an idea. You tend to it. You grow, network, and other things. What are the biggest challenges that you've faced in this particular sector? AI, healthcare, C-Prio. What are the biggest challenges that you got to that challenge and you were like, oh, can I really do this anymore? So could you tell us?
For us, this specific project, the data is the biggest challenge. To get the real data from NHS is not as easy as we normal people expected. It takes a long time and go through all the processes.
For me, I think it's a personal journey, and it's challenging with a busy NHS job, full-time job, and also behind that, I have to do all the that business work. So I find it really challenging. Time management is the one thing I need to do, and also we mentioned well-being, my personal well-being. I think really get your mindset in the right place, and you want to excel in both aspects, clinical work, you want to do the best you can, and business work. I think that's the challenge I need to solve during that period of time. And it's a journey. Find yourself, actually, discover yourself. I enjoy that. It's fantastic. You come out with totally different person.
Are you a lover of books? Do you read a lot of books? I suggest that yes, you will. Do you read a lot of books?
I have to. Last 2 years with this innovation, business skills, I need to read a lot of books and different channels. YouTube is very helpful as well. Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of books, what one book would you say that you would recommend to a young aspiring entrepreneur? So let's say me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have a solid landing into the entrepreneur world, especially in healthcare. What's that one book that you recommend to me?
Yeah, I will recommend. I think it's fantastic. That's the first book I read for entrepreneurship, called The Innovator's Prescription. I like this book because they really analyze the present situation of healthcare in the kind of from a historical point of view, how this system is formed, why it not serve the purpose anymore, and how we can improve it, use disruptive innovation. It is fantastic to have an overview of it. I really love it. And you do need to read page by page, but you get the whole idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it is really good. I suggest you to get it and read it.
If you could go back in time as a young Dr. Shaobin upcoming, and if you could also give me an advice as an aspiring entrepreneur, what is that one thing that you would tell me to do or not to do?
I think there's two aspects of this. First aspect is because the dynamic changing of the world and new technology. We have to open mind, thinking what we can do. And at the same time is for communications, for interpersonal skills. When people doing things we don't understand, rather than criticize, I think use the curious opportunity is really build more peaceful mind, and also you learn from others as well. I think that's the things, if I go back, I will do that. That's the most important thing.
Thank you so much, both of you. This has been such an interesting session. It has been educational, it has been filled with laughter, and it is such an honor to meet the two of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed that. Thank you. Yeah.